Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video for today. So on Tuesday we've had the Google I/O event. In my eyes, a very good event, but the stock did not reflect that. The stock on Tuesday was actually down 1.5%. But right now, at the time of making this video, stock is up 3%, so it does seem like the market just needed a good night's sleep to actually understand what was shown to us. Because in my opinion, this was a damn good event that showed that, well, Alphabet, Google, is not behind anymore. This is not the BART presentation that they showed us 2 years or so ago. No, this is Google actually leading the way in a lot of things, whether it's, well, their Gemini Pro models, their VO models, video models, imaging models, video with audio. Some of these things were actually insane. They also talked about Android XR, their, well, new Google glasses, which we predicted here on the channel during the live streams as well. So I want to go over everything that you might have missed and you should know as a Google investor. Now, right now, Google is a company that's worth $2 trillion, a trailing PE of 18.6 times and a forward one of 18.1 times with an average analyst price target of $200. Price to free cash flow sits at 26.7%, trailing wise, forward one at 24.3%. This is a company with, well, pretty good margins, as you can see right here. Gross margins 58.6%, free cash flow margin 20.8%, net margin of 30.9%. This takes the last 4 quarters. Of course, free cash flow, as I've shown you in past videos, is expected to actually accelerate in the coming fiscal years. So yeah, maybe this might be one of the last times where we can buy Google stock for cheap. Although I do have to add, I am biased. I hold shares of Google, and I also have told you time and time again that Google stock was never expensive on average, right? If we looked at the PE, never traded on average at around 30 times or so, like the likes of Apple, for example. So yes, it is looking cheap. It is cheap, but it has never been a stock that was trading at a super high multiple. And so before jumping into this video, if you enjoy this type of videos, hit all the buttons, especially the subscribe one. Really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. All right, let's first start with the basics here. Yes, of course, when we think about Google, we only think about Google being a search giant. But if we're being honest, it's much more than that. Basically, in the Google I/O presentation, they cemented their position as a full-fledged AI powerhouse, and understanding this shift is critical for your, well, bullish thesis if you are bullish, and of course, if you're bearish, then you probably need to know these things as well. So at first, Sundar talked a lot about Gemini, of course. At the heart of Google's strategy is Gemini. It's not just a chatbot, it's the underlying intelligence powering nearly everything Google does. They highlighted the 480 trillion monthly tokens processed across Google's products and APIs. That's a 50x increase year over year. This isn't just a big number, it's a testament to the sheer scale of Google's AI operations and their ability to leverage their vast data footprint. They mentioned Gemini's leadership on public leaderboards, like holding the top 3 spots on the Lambda leaderboard for output tokens generated per second. This, of course, signals continued technical superiority, which is vital for attracting top talent and enterprise clients. It's all about, of course, expanding the ecosystem and the developer community. They then talked about the new Gemini model, Gemini 2.5 Pro, Gemini Flash, Deep Think mode in Gemini 2.5 Pro. This aims to improve reasoning and problem solving. For investors, of course, this implies that Google is tackling more complex, high-value problems, potentially expanding AI into areas requiring greater accuracy and critical thinking like finance, healthcare, legal analysis, etc., etc. Now, as for the monetization and ecosystem integration, they talked again about AI overviews, how that's already serving over 1.5 billion monthly users. They introduced AI mode in search, which in my opinion was one of the biggest announcements that they've made more recently. And that's, of course, their direct answer to the evolving search landscape. Instead of leaving Google for AI chatbots, users get contextual multi-turn answers within search. This is about defending and potentially expanding the multi-$100 billion search advertising business by keeping users within their ecosystem. This is something that I've talked about time and time again, and something that, well, clearly the market and the bears did not understand. The Gemini app now also has over 400 million monthly active users. Google's AI subscription plans are now front and center with Google AI Pro, formerly Google Advanced, and the new Google AI Ultra plan at $250 per month. Of course, this is one way for them to make sure that only those that really need to use that are going to use that and are, of course, going to pay for it. All the rest will still will be able to use the free features, the free Google search and the free Gemini models. And then came Project Mariner. This is the ability of AI to interact with the web and performs complex tasks, multitasking, teach and repeat. This is a game changer for productivity. This will be integrated in Chrome, Search, the Gemini app, and this will deepen user engagement and workflow integration. We've talked about that. I've talked about that specifically when talking about Perplexity and their upcoming browser Comet. This announcement basically means that, there will be zero reasons for you to actually switch from Google Chrome to anything else. Continuing on that same note, they talked about personalized context within Gmail and Workspace. So personalized smart replies in Gmail using your tone and style. This will roll out this summer for subscribers. This is about making Google's existing productivity suite even more indispensable, increasing switching costs and driving Workspace subscriptions. And don't forget that at the end of the day, all of these up and coming AI startups, they're all losing a ton of money. Google, of course, has the luxury of having a free cash flow machine plus the scale that they already have. So monetizing their AI services is going to be way easier than any other AI startup out there. Moving on to Android XR and the smart glasses. So Google is making a significant push back into the XR space with Android XR, an operating system built for headsets and smart glasses, integrating, of course, Gemini directly. They're partnering up with Samsung. The project is called Muhan, and they will also partner up with, sunglass companies, makers, whatever you call it, basically another Ray-Ban called Gentle Monster and Warby Parker. And this, of course, isn't just a tech demo. This is a very, very strategic move to secure a piece of what, the tech space calls the next computing platform. Now imagine Gemini in your smart glasses, real-time search of what you see, instant translation, context-aware navigation. This opens up entirely new advertising and data collection opportunities in the long term, moving beyond the screen. And to be honest, all of these announcements collectively reinforce Google's competitive moat. By deeply embedding Gemini across Search, Workspace, Chrome, Android, I was surprised not to hear more about YouTube, but I'm sure that's going to come in the future. They're making their ecosystem incredibly sticky and valuable. The focus on AI model efficiency, like Flash and controlled token usage thinking budgets, for example, demonstrates a pragmatic approach to managing compute costs, which is crucial for profitability in the AI era. Google is actively exploring and deploying multiple monetization vectors for AI, direct subscriptions, enhanced ad revenue through more engaging search experiences, increased stickiness for workspace and cloud, and potential future hardware sales or platform licensing for Android XR. Sundar actually emphasized they are now shipping breakthroughs the moment they're ready. This faster product cadence is, of course, essentially to maintain a lead in the rapidly evolving AI space, something that they clearly did not do 2 years ago. And again, just to reiterate, not everything that was announced on Tuesday is being released to the mass public. A lot of it is only available, I believe, in the United States, and a lot of it, yes, is still behind a paywall. But I do believe that, let's call it, a year from now, everything that they did announce today will be available to the general public. But yes, it's true that in the age of AI, I do think that every time there's going to be a new model that comes out, whether it's imaging, video, or just a general one, I do think that the newest one will always be first available to those that pay and then to those that want it for free. And if I'm being honest, it makes sense from a business standpoint. If they were not a publicly traded company, I would think that they would go the more aggressive way, which is basically releasing everything to the public and making sure that they increase their monthly active users, something that ChatGPT did. Of course, ChatGPT does get the help of Microsoft, but this is something that you can see a lot of AI startups do, right? Releasing everything to the public relatively for free, I'd say, or maybe a free trial, and then you have to pay a small sum, but it's all about attracting users and making sure that the users stay, well, inside your ecosystem. Now, let's be honest here, not that many AI companies have an ecosystem as strong and as big as Google, and that's their strength. Yes, they might have been, and they were late to the party, but right now, as you can see, 2025 clearly is the year where Google is going to take over, in my opinion. Now, the stock clearly does not reflect that just yet, but all of the signs do point to, well, them going in the right direction, and they are, in my opinion, going to take more market share and maybe take even their market share, their lost market share back from the likes of ChatGPT. Now, me, as you know, I'm extremely bullish on Google. I have everything Google, Android, I have a Google Pixel phone, so I know very well what works and what doesn't work. And on my phone, I have Grok, I have Perplexity, so I'm using all the others to see what's great and what's not. I have to admit, Perplexity for search things, very, very good. Grok, to be honest, I've used it less and less for one reason or another. Gemini, I use it daily. Maybe it's because I'm a Google user, so I use Gemini daily. And to be honest, it does everything it needs to do. So I have zero reasons to switch to another app or another website or whatnot. And especially now with Google search and AI overviews, and hopefully I'll get AI mode enabled pretty soon. Why would I switch, right? That's the whole thing. Why would I go to another website if I can just use the thing that I've been using for one decade or more now, and it works. It does exactly what it needs to do. It just makes sense, right? I will not have to use anything else. And so that's about it. As you know, I'm extremely bullish on Google. We've been talking about that quite a lot recently, especially during the live stream. Jose and I will admit that this is probably the best Max 7 right now, pricing wise, risk reward wise as well. So yeah, I'm very bullish. I know that execution is key, right? You cannot be falling asleep at the wheel, as they say right now, especially not in this day and age. But it is very nice to see, especially in 2025, how fast they are moving. This was bound to happen, and I'm happy it's happening right now. And the stock will eventually catch up to reality. So all in all, that's about it. That's everything you needed to know. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe to all of that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
We can talk.
No more silence.
Yes, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk with accents.
Oh, I think that would be marvelous, Fran.
Yes, it is very fun. But
Yes, it is very good.
It's very fun.
I can talk.
Yes.
We can talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
Yes,
We can talk. No.